some of the sectors that many Canadian investors are already familiar with as priority sectors.
I think this is just the perfect time for Canada and Nigeria to be looking at doing business together. Canada is at a point where it's really ready to go more international. A lot of Canadian industries are already going international, but it's a time now when they realize how important it is to diversify markets. And in Africa, things are moving along so well now. A lot of Canadian companies are already experienced in South Africa and parts of East Africa, and some in the West, but not as many as we would like to see. So I think it's a wonderful time.
Nigeria and Canada have a long history of friendly relations as Commonwealth countries, as federations, as well as a shared commitment to promoting global peace, as shown by our common track record of contribution to the United Nations peacekeeping missions. Our bilateral relations were further strengthened by the recent visit of the Right Honourable Julie Payette, the Governor General of Canada, and everyone is still talking about how down-to-earth and inspirational she was. This summit further confirms the mutual desire of our two countries for deeper engagement, of course not just between our governments, but also between our business communities. Nigeria, as we've heard repeatedly, is Canada's largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. But as we've also heard from the Nigerian ambassador in Canada, there is, and also the Deputy High Commissioner, there is tremendous opportunity and scope for increased trade and investment ties between our countries. The need to fully realize Nigeria's immense investment potential impelled us more than 2 years ago to launch a process of reforms aimed at improving Nigeria's business environment with the inauguration of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which the President asked me to chair. The committee was tasked with progressively removing the challenges faced by investors in doing business in Nigeria and ensuring coordination across several ministries and agencies of government. With the support of the leadership of the National Assembly and state governments, we were able to drive reforms that earned us a place last year as one of the world's 10 top performing economies.
Africa and Nigeria in particular seems like a great opportunity for us as a country to get into a new geographic location and bring some of our standards that we have over from Canada to Nigeria. And within Nigeria, you have pretty much a lot of Western Africa and maybe all of Africa, right? As far as Nigeria goes, I know there's a lot of infrastructure and aviation and healthcare opportunities that Nigerians would like to focus on and improve. And at least on the healthcare side, we look forward to helping in that sector. And I think it's important that Nigerians also understand the standards that are expected in North America and implement those strategies in Nigeria itself so it can bring the culture up even more.
I think the question is, what have we done given the plan we came in with, and how does that relate to what we're doing here today? In the interest of time, I'll just summarize at a very high level what is the roadmap we are following for this diversification agenda, which will then link into the relationship with Canada. You know, when this government came to being and were invited to join the government, we came to the conclusion, based on the vision of the President and the Vice President, of working on, peace and security, good governance, including fighting corruption and diversifying the economy to create jobs, that our ministry, had an important role to play in the following areas. The first and by far the most important, which cuts across, is the enabling environment. The importance of working with the entire government, as His Excellency has very well articulated, to make sure that that vision of this government, to make it easier for people to do business, to create the right environment for prosperity to take place, happens. And so we've been working very closely with our Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council and other actors or other stakeholders on that initiative as one where we must walk the talk. We don't have an alternative.
this is the first Nigerian-Canadian Investment Summit 2018. It's an historic event, which I am so glad that the idea came to do it in Nigeria. They've done so many summits in Canada, but engaging investors to come to Nigeria, just telling them is not enough. Bringing them here to see the beautiful country, the warm people, really would give them a perception of what they're getting into.
But an agreement is about two parties doing business. It is important that the two parties have no issues or afterthoughts about what they're signing. But it is not a question at all. Have no doubt in your mind about Nigeria's interest in having that agreement ratified. I know that Canada, as I mentioned, is also looking at its own model agreement. And I guess once the work is done, there will be some agreements that Canada has that you need to take a new look at. We've done some of that work in Nigeria. I believe the issues can be resolved. In terms of examples, examples abound, from big companies to small companies. But my favorite example is actually a small Turkish business that first came to Nigeria for the first time in 2014, bringing in their products to sell it in the market. The company is called Hayat Kimia, and they make baby diapers. They are now the largest baby diaper manufacturer in Nigeria, and they're expanding into other categories.
The kinds of things I think we're seeing coming out of this are really quite positive in terms of good follow-up between both Nigerians and Canadians, a better understanding of some of the needs of Nigeria on Canadians' part, and I think a better idea of what we have to offer in the way of solutions from Nigerians' part. One of the interesting things to me, certainly, that's come out of it is that there are 10,000 students, Nigerian students, registered in Canadian universities these days. And I think there's some quite subtle policy changes that can help reattract those students back into Nigeria rather than at times leaving them stranded in Canada.
I'm very glad and delighted to have in this event, and this is my first visit in Nigeria. And I never had this wonderful experience that people so friendly. Once again, I would appreciate one of my friends, Mr. Musa Yar'Adua, who has shown me this long road, and especially invited me here through His Excellencies. Nigeria has a wonderful opportunity of mining, bring the gold standard to the world, and better than many other countries. Whole world, the gold consumer having. The largest gold consumer is, as everyone knows, as India. Last 3 years, the largest consumer of the gold is China. All this gold surround the whole world, the production, mining and manufacturing happening in most of it in Africa. Whereas Africa do not enjoy this beautiful depository of the gold, and due to many lack of infrastructure, refining, assaying, standard laboratory and many other inspector sectors, that technology shortage of this. Today, we Canadian, at beginning of this year, I would like to share as a Justin Trudeau, our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, has went to India, and we have achieved Indian business relationship between Canada and India. We have come to the conclusion with my partners, Mr. Trudeau, and with the ministers and His Excellency, we have promised to bring the Nigeria to a best level of the modern technology and bring pine to market. Where is? During the course of the period, we have basic discussion, more than $1 billion to be invested into this sector and bring the sector into the best possible modern contemporary mining into the earth. Nigeria will be one of them. This opportunity, and once again, I would like to say one more thank you to His Excellency that giving us this opportunity to serve Nigeria once again.